What's going on, Boosted Mob? Today is a great day only because it's a time for me to finally let you guys know what I think about the BMW G80, G82, M3, and M4. And first and foremost, I must say this camera that I got set up on my laptop, I've never used it until today, and it is terrible. I am not a fan. I apologize. But as you guys know, I have been an avid BMW fan. I own a E92 BMW M3, arguably one of the most unique generations of the M3 in existence. E92 M3 is a milestone for BMW and its M division as it relates to motorsport, even when motorsport was at its highest point, because we're seeing that decline and where that shift has gone as well. But anyways, the G80 is out. It is new. It's supposed to be impressive, and I have little things that I could say great about it, but I'm not going to dive into that first. I want to first just simply talk about the design, because one thing that I've been noticing as I, scroll through and internet warrior with a bunch of people on the internet is that I think that the people have very low expectations from companies, or that they have just seen so much overly saturated, very just not really well executed design that they'll take any crazy design as good. Like I don't understand what I'm witnessing with the majority of the people who are, accepting these terrible executions of a car from these organizations. It is blasphemy. And people try and say, oh, the Bangalore design was, the same thing, or oh, the F80 grill touching lights. Like those were little things, right? These were like very specific one-off instances on the entire car. Bengal, you can stretch that a bit more. There might have been a lot of different things, but overall, the essence of the BMW remained pure. Stretching the kidneys to touch the lights, yeah, it wasn't our favorite thing, but it didn't ruin the overall aesthetics of the entire car. With the G80 and G82, I feel like they just threw away half the stuff that was important, and you just look at it and squint and go, was everyone on board with each other when they were making this decision? Did they lose the people who actually stood by the values of BMW? Because I don't understand some of these sign-offs. And very quickly, I want to pull up. You probably can see my screen of tons of pictures, and I want to try and show a little bit what I'm disliking about the G80. And I think I can actually do this here. Let's see if I can draw. So a lot of people have been saying, oh, the front's ugly, but at least the rear is good. And I'm like, the rear is ugly too. And hear me out, guys. I have the previous gen and the new gen. And I want to really highlight on a couple of things that I just think are either laziness or just poor execution. Like BMW design has just become very bland. And there's some key things that I think are carrying the entire car. And the immediate one that people will say is the lights are amazing. Yes, the lights are great, but the lights alone cannot distract you from the rest of the car being very muck. Like this is not enough. And what I'm saying is, when you look at the F80, the first thing a lot of people complained about a little bit was that they did the inverse on the light design, but the way that this flowed with the rest of the car, I think was really good. When you look at, some of these lines here, I think these lines worked really well with the car, and held true to some of the ways that BMW has been using their design language in the past. What was new for the F80, which I think was a really great decision of being aggressive and modern, was the way that they used these lines here. The way this all flowed together was still very BMW, but it created a very nice degree of aggression. When you look at this, the way this diffuser flowed, and I know that in this picture it's aftermarket, but the way this flowed with the car is well executed. The lines, all the crease lines that you're seeing, they all work cohesively together. And I'm no designer, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see these things. When you look at this line here, the way it flows all the way across the car, this is the same line that you see running all the way along the side of the car. It's well done. And then you have this third line that kind of flows with the body. This crease line is also running parallel with the line that's going out along the car, right? Now, when I go and look at this car, it looks too tall. It makes this car almost look like you're looking at an SUV. I don't know where any of the flow had gone with this car, but it just seems like it's really emphasized on this very tall design language, and I don't like it. Then this here doesn't help it at all. I don't understand what I'm looking at. This is how this car down here, it just looks like a tall rectangle. This had a lot of design language that really worked together, and it still has this prominent crease line, but it flowed outwards, whereas this line, it just flows like this, and I just don't know why people look at that and think that looks good. They might be the same height. I really don't know if these cars have the same height, but I think the way the design language worked on the F80 played in its favor to really make it all just really look well done. This, I just can't help but see tall and flat. And then even, it carried off this design. I don't know why this bumper has no flow. Like, they could have easily done something like that and then created these lines to flow better, and then you could have had that same kind of flow here. You could have had I just don't know what happened, but this is terrible. Let me restart this again, but I don't understand, guys. Maybe I'm just the only one that's seeing this here, but I don't like any of what I'm seeing with these lines. And I think the entire diffuser is just poorly executed. This is the type of diffuser I expect to see in the back of an SUV, where SUVs are very tall and rigid, but it lost all of the sexiness that BMW created, which made a lot of things flow cohesively. And that's just the rear bumper, guys. I'm just getting started. Like, it doesn't even have any of the creases anymore around here. Like I have been talking about. This is a big no for me. Let me pull up. Let me just quickly talk about this. There's not much that needs to be said here. I don't know what BMW said. This is RCF all day. This is an even better picture. You can really see, just how flat and ugly. It's like slightly round, and then you have this here. It's like, what happened at BMW when they were putting all this together? I'm not seeing the well execution of a cohesive design team here. I'm just not seeing it. It doesn't help that it like bumps out very weirdly, and BMWs have always bumped out like that. Like I mentioned, even if you see any of the other ones, and I guess I'll pull one up in a second, but like, there's still the bump out here, but I don't know, guys. Really quick, when I pull up the RCF, what did BMW get inspired by Lexus? I mean, the lights are awfully similar. The vertical exhaust tips are awfully similar, and you can see Lexus still kept, it had some angular that flows well with the car, where this is boxy like a truck. I don't know what happened, but I think Lexus design, which I didn't truly love back then, absolutely shits on the F80 F82 design. This is trash, and I don't see why people can't see that. Another thing, guys, nobody likes fake fence. All right, nobody, is begging for anything fake on their car. What happened here? Where did BMW lose themselves? Why isn't this an actual active vent? I don't even care if the vent is useless. Make it functional like the rest of them been. Like, this was an easy. Let's not f up here. Now let me give a quick credit. Wheels look great. I think these are some of the best wheels they've done in a while. I can't complain. Small. I don't know what happened there. I'm not a fan. we look at these are ugly. These are not good side mirrors. This car has so much wonkiness going on. Sometimes it wants to be angular, sometimes it wants to be round. It's so sharp here, and it's like it looks so boxy. When you see it from, where's that angle, head on? Oh man, these things are ugly. These look how square they look. I don't know what happened here. Look, I just designed the mirror off of paint. Like, that's how that mirror looks to me. But while we're here, the problem I have more with this bumper than anything, I mean, sure, do I like the super large kidney grills? Not at all. I don't think I like them that much at all. But this is where I don't know what BMW was doing, and these things here, this line here, this line here, which isn't that bad, but it's like, where are you guys going? You have this line here. I hope these lines are the same. I don't think they are. So it's like, my problem is, why do you have this design language here? Then you have this design language here that's, and then you have this here. I'm not understanding how any of this is really flowing. You got this line here, you got that line here. I don't know what BMW was doing up front. I just don't feel like, beyond the kidney grill being disproved, I don't know where the rest of the design was really going. I just don't see how any of these lines are really working together here, and therefore this is trash to me. I don't think this looks good at all. Even when you see it, there's a side profile. I swear I had one. Yeah, here we go. When you see it from the side, I struggle. It's like you got this here, but then you have, this looks short and stubby. You got this and this. Like, I don't like this. This looks tall, like an SUV again, like where other BMWs, they had very sleek designs, and then there we go with that again. But anyways, I'm not a fan. Even when I look at the pictures, like, this thing is tall. It does not look beautiful to me. I'm sorry. The lights are great. The exhaust tips are big. If I'm gonna judge an entire car off of those two things, I'm a sheep. Like, I don't even know if I could say that I really like cars. Now, I brought this one up because it has a big grill, but at least Lexus took their design language and made it all flow well. So it's big and ugly, to what we usually like, but at least it flowed. At least it made sense. That's all I'm asking from BMW at this point. Make it make sense. You look at the top view here. Oh, what happened at BMW? And where is my power dome? God. And the big one that a lot of people have brought up is this here. That looks like a Camaro, a Ford Mustang. They totally got rid of the original design that used to go like this. That was what we appreciate. Now they just said, F it. Let's just make it a Camaro. This was BMW language. You knew you're looking at a BMW, even if you just saw that quarter panel window. Now it looks like everything else. I just feel like BMW just gave up on caring about what matters. Here we go again on this. It's tall and square. It's tall. It's tall. It's tall. And you guys are getting the trend here, right? It's like none of these lines, to me, are working together. Then you just have this thing. It's just like we just said, just slap the biggest thing we can get back there. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, and I'm really trying to remember all of my thoughts, and I'm losing my thoughts as I'm talking right now, was I just don't know. I just don't know what happened. The last thing I really want to say on this car, and at first I was wondering why the vent looks so ugly. I guess it flows here, but This vent is such an eyesore to see on the side of the car. It's like they might as well have just done away with it because it doesn't look good. And I just, no matter how I look at this, I just don't know where BMW saw that and was like, yeah, all of that looks very good. I just can't unfocus on how blatantly ugly that is. And then just the way they ended up designing this air curtain here, when you see it head on, and I'll show one more time, it just looks so bad. Here we go again with the terrible freaking side mirrors. Those things are ugly. I thought my Lotus Evora had bad mirrors. Those things are atrocious. They have this black carbon design going all the way at the bottom. I don't know. And I guess I can be happy that at least they have one line that looks to flow. But let's talk. What exactly is going on here? When you look, you see shading happening here, right? You see some shading happening here. But somehow when it all meets up right there, it just like doesn't meet together. Why is there different shading here versus here? What? It's like this panel and this door do not align at all. It's like they fucked up and was like, hopefully nobody sees, but you see this clear line here and then it just stops. And then you have a line that goes up like this. Why doesn't this flow into the rest of the car? I don't know. Is that a my bad? Let me zoom this in, guys. In case you're not hearing what I'm saying. Let me zoom in. What is happening? Oh man. Let me do this again. What is happening here? Where did it, you can see from all the way the light is hitting, something is not working right. I am sourly disappointed. See these mirrors even up closer. Whoo-wee, those are bad. Same with this. This thing is, it's just, there's so much bad. I've never looked at a design and just been like, just everywhere I look, there's just something to be disappointed with. This car is not it, guys. This is not even the closest thing BMW could have done. I mean, there's so many other designs out here. I would just take this over what they gave us. I'm pretty sure I could have made this work. I could have accepted. At least it has the right side skirt. These are close in terms of still being ugly, but this was poorly done. And I know no one's gonna go this far watching this video, but this is what I'm talking about. This gapping here that you see just looks like it's hanging out in nowhere's land. I don't know. I'm gonna stop. I've looked at this too long trying to understand it. I don't think it's meant for someone like me to understand. I think most people just see a couple of highlights and go, "Ooh, new BMW, great power. I'm in love. Look at the lights, so great. Oh, look at the lights, so great. Oh, look at all the black. It's so nice. Oh, 500 horsepower. Oh, all-wheel drive." But it doesn't have DCT anymore, which I won't go into that today. And it weighs damn near 4,000 pounds. I mean, are you guys really okay with this? Like, are we really going to accept this? Like, people, and then the last thing I'm going to say before I let all this go, people go, "Oh, change is needed. Change, we need change. Why are you mad that BMW is making change?" Time out, guys. Change is fine. Terrible change is not fine. I'm not saying BMW couldn't have done change to their design, but make the changes make sense. Make it look good. Make it work with what you've had and built as a company for years and allow it to ship you into the future. This design looks like it just came out of a studio of a bunch of interns. Like, I can't look at this design and be like, this was designed by BMW designers. I don't know where I'm seeing that at all. This thing looks like someone wrote up the criteria without any pictures and said, based off of what you're reading, please produce us this car, because this is not it. Now hear me out. I'll probably do a series of videos on the BMW M3 because I'm gonna be very honest. My dream car was the M. I have loved M for a very long time. Now, as I got older, gained more money, saw more life, my loves and passions grew, but fundamentally to my core, My dad was an avid BMW lover and fan. I just naturally grasped onto that and came to appreciate them as well. I spent a lot of time researching them and falling in love with them. They were dominating at the time when I was coming up of age. E46, E36 was incredibly hot. They were on fire. Everybody wanted to have the M. I would go to the dealerships as much as I could when my dad would go in for service, which was quite often, and got car washes, and I would just get in and out of all of the cars. And I wanted an E36, then I wanted an E46, and then I solidified it on wanting an E92. It had everything, a V8, it was big enough, dual clutch transmission was super hot at the time. Like, these were transmissions you only saw in exotics. It was amazing. The styling I came to appreciate. It was modern enough, but still kind of retro, and I had to have it. And now BMW has blessed me with the G80. I don't know if I could tell my future kids, like, yeah, you know, there was a time when BMW was hot. I don't know what happened, but them days are gone. Like, it's a sad time to be seeing this happen.